All right, welcome back. Hope everyone's doing well. I feel like the thumbnail might have been a little bit dramatic or a little bit hard on myself, but it's I guess that is a thought that's in the back of my head most of the time. So I'm done steelheading for the year. I'm making my way back down to Whistler, and there's a lot of good deer hunting areas on the way down. And last couple seasons, I've stopped for a couple days and been fortunate enough to harvest a deer each time. Given they're not very mature animals, and I only have, you have limited time to make it happen. And yeah, when you see one, you just really want it just to be successful and have the meat in the freezer. And yeah, so I mean, I've been hunting for probably about 6 years now, and yeah, just on a whim, I don't really like the taste of trout and salmon that much, so I'd never keep any of the fish I catch. And then I just started thinking about, maybe I should get a 22, get a grouse. Then you would see deer, you would see elk, and you progress from there, and you just get interested, and you go after the big game animals, and the reward's a lot more. You get way more meat off a deer than you do a grouse, obviously. Um, yeah, I guess my problem is I have a hard time passing up any opportunity I get, right? So, in the beginning, I barely had an opportunity. So, the only buck I would see in the season is the one I'd shoot, right? And in BC, we can have multiple tags for deer. So, I mean, you don't need to do that. But I think for me, it comes down to like confidence. Just I see one, and I just worry I'm not going to see another one for the rest of the season, and then I harvest it, and then I'm happy, but last year I really wanted to hold myself to a higher standard to find a more mature animal, and I kind of gave into the same insecurities, and I harvested some younger bucks again. And afterwards I felt bad. I thought, Ryan, you kind of betrayed yourself. You said you wanted to hold out, and see if you have the chops to find a mature animal, and we'll never know because I took the easy way out and took a small animal again. So this year, say it again. I'm gonna try and hold out. I really want to mature buck. It's not necessarily about antler size and tines and length and all that. For me, I just want a mature animal. I don't care if it's a giant mature 2 point, but I just want something that's got big bases, big, thick, heavy antlers. And that's, I've put in the time. Can't tell you how much hiking I've done over the last handful of years on our local mountains, and putting trail cameras and finding the beds and the trails, my game trails. And man, I've picked up so many sheds. It's kind of ridiculous. I had to throw half of them out because I just don't have the space for them. So just kind of had to keep the best of the best. But I mean, I feel like I'm getting it. I'm getting on them. I know where they are, when they're going to be there, what class of animal are in some of these areas, and yeah, I know it's not going to be easy because the terrain's not easy to navigate for a person, um, but it's possible. Some of the people I follow, I'm like, man, I want to accomplish. It's a goal, right? It's a challenge. It's you can harvest younger animals like for sure easier. The big ones don't get big by being dumb, so you really have to kind of pit your skills against them and try and come out the victor. So that's my motivation, anyways. And I'm going to hang around this spot maybe up to a week, but probably at least 2 or 3 days, and see how good it feels. Like if I'll find a decent animal, but yeah, I don't want to harvest a small one here either. I mean, I say that now, but you go a few days without seeing anything, and then you see one, and you're allowed to take it. It's hard not to take the opportunity and pull the trigger, but we'll see. I'm going to try and do better this year. And yeah, I don't know. I just figured it's very social media. See a lot of the hero shots, big bucks. Yes, some guys are just killers, and girls are just amazing hunters, and that's a lifetime of experience. They've built those skills up, and those are the people kind of you look up to and try and take advice and tips and cues from, and they tell you to hold out for the mature animal, and they're right, because as soon as you take an immature animal, you're never going to get that mature animal. But it's that roll of the dice. If I hold out for a mature animal, am I going to get no animals and no meat in the freezer? But I don't know. I feel like I have the time and the opportunity. I should be able to pull something off. So yeah, I just thought this would be a realistic, little bit of a journey for someone who's not, an expert hunter. I love it. I'm so into it. Like I would tell you the truth, I'm more into hunting these days than I am fishing, for sure. Even steelheading. just because I've done it for so long, right? But this hunting thing is so new to me. I'm just like a sponge sucking it all up, and I want a mature buck so bad, like I can't even tell you. So yeah, that's on me, no one else, and we'll see if I can get it done or not. I'll try to make the videos as interesting as I can. I know it's not probably not going to be as action packed as some of the steelhead videos, but that's just hunting. That's the way it is, right? So I'll try to make them interesting and not draw them out too much to bore you guys. But I just, I thought for people out there who maybe are in the same situation as I am, where they really want it, but they just haven't found a mature buck yet. You're not alone. I think there's more of us than there are the successful hunters. I'd go as far as to say I bet you 10% of the hunters harvest the biggest animals. Just like fishing, 10% of fishermen catch all the fish. Like they just have the experience and knowledge, and it eventually just becomes second nature to know how to hunt properly. But for some of us, we're still in the learning phase and have the passion and the drive, but just really need the to get our skills in order and have the patience and confidence that if you just wait and do everything right, you just might get an opportunity at the animal you're after. So anyways, I'll stop rambling, and thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you guys get something out of these videos and enjoy them, and let's see how the season goes. It wasn't supposed to rain today, they said. All right, I've got about 5 does and a fawn. I don't know if you can hear me, but I've got 5 does and a fawn. Down below me in the sky looks really good. And I got behind these trees and they can't see me, so it's pouring rain, but I'm just gonna hang out and see if I can't get lucky and have a buck walk out with them. It'd be a really good shot from here too. Fingers crossed. Probably can't see them from there, but they're just right out in the middle. Okay, well that was a bit better of a day. At least I saw some deer. I think I saw 9 to be exact, 7 does and 2 fawns, and of course none of them had antlers. So, but at least I'm starting to see deer now. It was raining all day as well, pretty heavy. So I went down to a spot I checked out last night, and it looked so good last night. I knew I wanted to go really far in there, and it just wasn't the right time to do it. I didn't want to get stuck out there until 12 a.m. or 1 a.m. if I was successful, but I wanted to have a whole day to actually explore the area, which I did. So I went in there and just going across these sort of rolling sort of gullies, and then I came in, there's like a patch of really young Christmas trees, and I popped out on the edge of that, and as I was walking up, you could see this big regrowing cut block sort of showing itself. So I was like, oh, that looks really good. And so I crept in really slow and kind of stood just in the tree line. I was glassing with my binoculars in the rain. Didn't see anything, but it looks so good. Even then I said I'm coming back tomorrow to try this again in the morning. So then I started walking kind of up to my left through the edge of the Christmas trees, and then I just noticed a doe pop up right in the middle. So of course I didn't see it when I was glassing, and her fawn stepped up or popped up beside her, and I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. There's deer there, so I froze again, and I was gonna start glassing again from a different angle, and then all of a sudden, like 5 more does just popped up right behind her, and I jumped behind a burnt tree and just froze and put my binos up, and yeah, there was a whole bunch of deer right in the middle of that. And I guess with the little Christmas trees out there, and they just had enough cover that when they were bedded down, I couldn't see them at all. And I'm not that great of a glasser anyways, but there was a handful of deer that I did not see. So that was good though. I was excited. So I just sort of hugged behind this burnt tree, and I was popping out from left to right with my binoculars to try and see if I could see a buck with them. And man, I looked them all over and nothing. They were all just does and a fawn. And but they kept looking off the other direction from where I was, and I kept thinking, well, maybe there's more deer over there, and if they start meandering kind of down to the bottom, maybe the other ones will follow, and maybe there's a buck in that group, or maybe there's just a buck up there, whatever. So it's worth just standing there and just glassing. I stood there for like 45 minutes, and it was pretty cool to see the deer just being deer. They had no idea I was there, and obviously no buck came through. But then they kind of like, I don't know if they were feeding down or that's just the way they wanted to get out of the cut, and they were gone for like 5-7 minutes. I didn't think much of it. I was just hoping to see a buck come through, and then I leaned out to the other side of the tree for the first time in a few minutes, and then all of a sudden all those deer had made their way up right beside me, and they still didn't know I was there at the time. So I just turned into a statue beside this tree. I think I blended in pretty well with kind of the half burnt tree, and I just froze. And man, it was crazy. They walked like so close to me, and they're just feeding. And I guess with the rain, yeah, maybe it was, and the wind was in my favor too for my scent, but man, I was just frozen like a statue for like 15 minutes. It was pretty funny. And then you could tell they started to catch on. They just kind of kept looking over my direction. And then I was just being a statue. It was pretty funny. And the fawns like getting real curious. And then the does kept they do this thing where they know something's up over there. So they're staring at you, but then they test you and they put their head down like they're going to feed, and then they pop up real quick. But 2 of the does started doing that, and I'm like, I know your tricks. So I just stayed frozen, and they had no idea they knew something was up, but they sensed me, I think. But they ended up just, I waited. I didn't want to spook them just in case I go back tomorrow. So I just let them, disappear through the trees and gave them a few minutes. And then I just turned around and walked slowly out the other way. And then I got up. I want to get on this ridge, and I don't know, I just felt like big bucks like to be up high, so I was like, I'm gonna go up there. And it really wasn't that, it's not like it wasn't as high as like getting into the zones back home, so I got up there pretty quick. But man, I was surprised when I got in there. You could have told me I was hunting in blacktail woods. Like, it's all bluffy, big old growth Douglas fir trees. I was like, this is my game. So I didn't want to leave, and I just kept walking those ridges, and man, I saw so many big piles of droppings. So I know there's big bucks running around for sure, and up top too. And yeah, I don't know, man. I just did my best and went back and forth along that ridge and just didn't see anything up there. And yeah, so I just made my way back to the truck, and I'm soaking wet from the rain, so I might just make a coffee and try and dry some stuff out, and then I'll get back out there in the evening and try my luck again. So if I get anything, you'll be the first to know. All right, so it's the end of the day. I saw 11 deer today. Not one of them had a set of antlers on its head, which is fine. It was still fun to actually see deer, but it seems like after that rain, they're definitely up and moving now. So tomorrow's supposed to be the last really nice day, and it's actually calling for snow the day after. So see, it's one of those things. You get to the point and you're like, well, do I just, if I see a buck tomorrow, regardless of what it is, do I just shoot it? And then I can just get out of here? Not that I'm not having a good time, but, I don't have a trailer and a four-wheeler and all that great stuff. I'm sleeping in a 3-season tent beside my truck. So if it's gonna start snowing out here, it's gonna start getting pretty cold. But anyways, tomorrow's supposed to be bluebird, nice day. Those deer seem to be moving tonight as soon as that rain stopped and the sun came out. So I think I'm gonna climb back into that spot where I saw all those does. And you know, now that I know it's there and the most efficient way to get in there, I'll try that in the morning and sit on it. And, you know, as always, just hope I get lucky. Okay, no way. So I just decided to go do some still hunting, and I kind of hiked up into the wind, assuming that if I can get up high enough because the wind was going up the mountain, that at least I could come across and look down in this patch of timber. And I pretty quickly got onto a few does, and I was going across with the wind. You know, I'm going across the wind that's going up, and I kept bumping them, and I was just, you know, starting to get down on myself. And then all of a sudden, I hear something below me, and I just freeze, and I kind of poke my head through these little spruce boughs, and I can see a deer down there looking at me. So I put my binos on him. He's only like 50 yards away, and I can see two front tines, like forks on each side. So I was like, oh man, maybe it's a 3-point, and whatever, I don't care at this point. And man, you know, you get all jacked up. And then the problem is I was kind of screened by all these little spruce boughs. So I kind of like crept forward a little bit more. I knew I was pushing my luck, you know, and he wasn't going to hang around. And then I put my binos up again. He was gone. And I was like, damn. So then I put my rifle scope up just to be ready. And then I just saw a brown body, but I couldn't see a head. He was down feeding, I guess. And then, man, I kept staring and staring and staring. And all of a sudden I saw his head poking out from one side of a tree, and I could just see his front shoulder and his neck. And I was going to wait for him to take another step, but I was like, this is close, and I could tell he's got some antlers. So pull the trigger and pow. And yeah, he didn't take very many steps, and he's down. I was so excited. Yeah, so it's hard to see, but you see those little trees there. I was standing behind there, and he was somewhere behind one of these, probably this furthest tree. And looks like maybe ran about 20 feet. He's piled up here. Oh, it's so exciting. Oh, jeez. What are we looking at here? Well, there's 4 on one side. The other side's in the dirt. All right, I'm gonna have to try and pull him out of here, so stay tuned. That's some hard work. Boys, you're stinky. Wow. So this episode took a turn for the better. Yeah, I was hoping to 3-point was going to be my goal, but turns out I got myself a little 4x4. So couldn't be happier at all than with this. That was a really cool experience. And you know what they say, I mean, luck is, or getting lucky is when hard work and opportunity intersect, right? So if you just keep grinding, keep grinding, all you need is one opportunity and get lucky. Yeah, so I'm happy with that. That was, couldn't be more pleased. Well, all the hard work is done. Deer's broken down. It's in the cooler in the back of my truck. All my camping gear's put away. My poor little truck is wall to wall, floor to ceiling, just jam packed with hunting, fishing, and camping gear. So, yeah, I'm going to get out of here right now and head home. So, I'm looking forward to getting back there, cleaning up, and putting all my gear away and just getting settled again. And gonna have to spend some time in the kitchen breaking down the deer and cutting it into the different roasts and steaks and make some burger and that sort of thing. Get it in the freezer, so that takes a bit of time. Um, I also just wanted to maybe clarify because I don't think I really explained it in the beginning, but I was mule deer hunting this week, and then come November I'll really focus on black-tailed deer hunting closer to home. So just in case that wasn't obvious, I think maybe some people watching may not be familiar with all the different deer species, but again, just to clarify. Um, yeah, it's funny. I woke up this morning feeling pretty good. Obviously successful, so it's a good feeling. Um, but it's almost like full circle to the beginning of the video because I know once I start trying to look for a mature blacktail, I'm going to get my butt kicked pretty hard. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to feel like I suck at hunting again before I know it. But that's really it. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed it as usual. A little bit trickier making hunting videos, just trying to keep it somewhat interesting and not just me just sitting in the woods quietly for the whole video. So yeah, till next time, take care.